Advanced Micro Devices, AMD, is expected to report earnings tomorrow after the market closes. As you guys know in this channel, we're big in semiconductors. I'm also very bullish in AMD. This is my number 2 position in my portfolio, only behind NVIDIA. And I want to take a closer look at what I'm expecting for this company in forms of earnings tomorrow. And maybe if you are an AMD investor, maybe what to expect so you're not surprised with the results, because it could definitely get a little bit hectic. So let's take a closer look in today's episode. So I think the best place to start off is by looking at AMD's Q1 2023 earnings transcript. And this is their previous quarter. So I highlighted a lot of the information that this company kind of mentioned for the upcoming quarter. So one of the most important things is they did state on their last earnings call, so on the fourth quarter, and they believed that the first quarter was the bottom for their client market. And obviously the client market, these are their CPUs like the Ryzen that go in the desktops, and the laptops as well, right? So this is one of their core products. I do want to say it does seem like that might be the case. We did see and Intel recently report earnings, and we did see their revenue was down 12% year over year. But I do have some charts for you guys here. In client revenue, we can see for Intel is in blue. Q4 was roughly 6.6 billion for them. We can see Q1 was 5.8, and then Q2 they did see an increase. In AMD, we see the Q4 was roughly 0.9 billion or 900 million. Q1 was roughly 700 million. So here in Q2, we are expecting a nice sequential growth at least, very similar to how Intel gave us that nice sequential growth. So I do believe we are seeing the bottom. AMD has confirmed it in their last earnings call. They also mentioned it as well in their Q4 earnings call, and we are seeing that evidence from Intel as well, that at least the bottom is here for the inventory market, especially in the client segment. Now, if we take a closer look at some of the other guidance that the company also gave us, they do believe that year over year, they expect the client, gaming, and the data center market to see a decline, partially offset by the embedded segment growth. And again, I just want to take a closer look at Intel. There are two markets that Intel really kind of compares toe to toe with AMD. So AMD mentions two markets will be down year over year for Q2. First would be their client market. With, like I mentioned earlier, Intel's client segment is also down on a year over year basis. So we do have that evidence that that might continue to be the case. Intel also has a big product in the data center market, very competitive to AMD, and Intel saw about a 15% revenue down year over year in their data center market. So overall, from evidence, we do see that that's also the case for Intel. Now, they do mention sequentially, which is what I believe those charts would probably be better off. They expect the client and the data center segment to see a nice growth, to be offset by modest gaming and embedded segment decline. So overall, let's just take a closer look. So we already saw the client revenue. We saw that the client market was expected to see a bottom in Q1. So now we expect that sequential growth. We already talked about that. Now the data center market. So AMD believes that the data center market, they are going to see a sequential growth Q2. And very similar from Intel, we are seeing the very same chart. Q4 was really nice in data center, followed by a decline in Q1, and then Q2, Intel did see an increase in their data center market. So I do believe this is going to be the same case for AMD. We did see a nice Q4 of 1.6 billion. Unfortunately, Q1 was a sequential decrease. Now Q2, we expect that quarter growth. So that's something to be expected. And I do believe if we miss expectations there might be some form of a sell-off. One of the reasons there could be a miss, I don't expect it, but if there is, we are seeing data center spending still be high, but most of that data center spending is going into AI accelerators opposed to CPU, which is your general compute. Luckily for AMD, they do have the MI250. I don't know how much they have that in inventory. Intel did mention that, hey, they are seeing strong pipeline growth on their accelerator products from Gaudi 2. I wonder if AMD in the past few months has announced numerous kind of updates that their software and their hardware is getting strong implementations by a lot of different kind of startups in the AI market. So maybe that could have boosted some of the data center market, because we do have data center GPUs in this space. Now, two markets that AMD does believe they will see sequential decline is going to be the gaming and the embedded. I do believe the gaming makes sense, right? A lot of the gaming products, the Xbox, the PlayStation, are no longer in high demand to some extent how they were previously. So they're most likely starting to see weakness there as we're getting kind of further on in the gaming cycle. We are seeing a bit of sequential decrease in the embedded market, and AMD did give us a reason for that. They did mention that quarter one was another record for them for the embedded business, but their thought process right now for the modest decline into quarter two is that they previously had a bunch of backlog in the embedded market. During the semiconductor shortage, there was a huge demand and they couldn't keep up with demand, so they kind of created this backlog on their embedded business. Now it seems like they're clearing up, and that will clear mainly in quarter two, and then they expect quarter three and quarter four to maybe start to see some growth moderate a bit. So right now it does seem like a bit of that backlog is going to be clearing out, and it's really going to cause that kind of sequential decline compared to quarter one. So that's definitely pretty interesting. As we all know, for AMD, the embedded market is one of their highest gross margin markets of all. I do believe that's still going to be the case. They still are very much positioned for the aerospace and defense, industrial, test and emulation business of their automotive business. And I did previously talk about AMD recently releasing a new FPGA system that really helps out with emulation and prototyping. So hopefully we get to hear a little bit more about them in the embedded market, but we are expecting a sequential decrease. Now, the company also showcases or kind of explains a little bit of what to expect in the second half of the year. So I, as an investor, I want to make sure that this tone stays the same. If this tone kind of changes, there obviously could be a bit of a sell-off. Before we go any further, guys, if you are enjoying the episode, make sure to hit the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to hit 30,000 subs by the end of the year. Also, if you want to learn more about the semiconductor market, I do have a membership program with weekly exclusive videos. Just hit join. I do have a Substack. Make sure to join that for a lot of free information. And finally,
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
so now when we talk about the second half of the year, they do expect gross margins improvements because data center is going up and embedded is going to continue to be relatively strong. So the company does expect the second half to be a little bit stronger, especially in the data center market. For those that are not familiar, the data center and the embedded market are AMD's highest gross margin products. And right now, AMD has taken quite a hit in the data center market. Let's see if I can actually pull up AMD's Investors Relations website so we can see those financial results and kind of see the decline in their gross margins. Let me just take a closer look here. So here, if we take a closer look at quarter one 2023 segments and take a closer look at operating income and operating margins, the data center market in quarter one of 2022 was roughly 33%. I do believe in the second half of this year, we are going to expect to see that kind of gross margin again, maybe not as high as 33, but around those levels. In quarter one of 2023, gross operating margins dropped down to 11%. The main reason for this is this company did see an increase of research and development because they are releasing a lot new products in the second half. So a lot of that research and development and everything happening with those new products are going to go away, helping kind of expand the operating margins. Now, if we take a closer look at the embedded market, we can see the embedded market tends to have roughly operating margins of roughly 50%. So I do believe because this company is going to have less new products expected to come out in the second half, we're going to see that research and development maybe kind of shrink a little bit, and we'll see the overall operating margins kind of increase. And that's pretty much what AMD is telling us here, because in the second half, they are going to see improvements in the data center market and continue to have a strong embedded market. Also, if we take another look, we do know that right now their client market is actually operating margins negative. And if we are at the bottom of the cycle, we're going to start to see an increase in operating income here. I do believe by the second half we might be profitable again. So operating margins here should be profits, which could overall help the company in their bottom line numbers. Another thing I am super excited to hear is a little bit more about the MI300. That's expected to come out in quarter 4, but quarter 3 is expected to have a little bit more sampling. We might even have seen some sampling here in quarter 2. So I want to hear some updates on that. Also, the MI250 that's already out. Like I mentioned, Intel mentioned that their products, the Gaudi 2, which is out, is seeing strong demand right now. I do expect, I want to hear that maybe the MI250 is also seeing some strong demand in the AI workload market as well. The final thing is based on the company's kind of not that huge growth in data center market in quarter 1 and quarter 2 on a year-over-year basis. The company does expect that quarter 3 and quarter 4, the second half of the year, will have more of a 50% year-over-year growth to kind of see double-digit growth in the data center market for the full year of 2023. So what we're really expecting is, even if we don't see much growth in quarter 2 for this company's data center market, what we are expecting is to continue to have that tone that, hey, the second half of the year, they're expecting somewhere around the 50% year-over-year growth, which will really push the full year revenue growth in the data center market to double digits. So those are the things I'm looking out as an AMD investor. Let me know in the comments below, what are you keeping your eyes on? Obviously, we will hear a little bit more indication maybe in the AI accelerator market, and maybe get a little bit more tonish of what to expect for NVIDIA. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Take care, have a good day, and see you next time.